My girlfriend rejected my marriage proposal. We're both 21 years old and have been together for 6 years. Marriage was always something we talked about. It wasn't just my idea, we both wanted it. Over Thanksgiving, I decided to propose during a last-minute trip to Hawaii. Before we left, I even showed her parents the ring, and they were thrilled. Now, before anyone criticizes me, I knew she wanted one of those picture-perfect, Instagram-worthy proposals. The beach, big letters, flowers, the whole setup. But I didn't have the time or resources to make that happen. Still, I thought Hawaii would be special enough. I was wrong. The first night, I carried the ring in my pocket, ready to propose. But we ended up having a stupid argument because I ordered the wrong cocktail for her at dinner. By the time we got back to the hotel, the mood was completely ruined. I figured I'd wait until the next day. The following day, we went parasailing, and there was no way I was bringing the ring with me. By the time we got back, it was late, and the sunset she had always dreamed of had already passed. I suggested a nighttime walk on the beach. It was beautiful, the moonlight reflecting on the waves, her wrapped in my arms. I started to kneel, but she froze. "I hope you're not proposing right now."
"This isn't what I wanted," she said.
I stood up, speechless. I walked back to the hotel, and we didn't speak until the next day. She told me she wasn't rejecting me, just the way I proposed. She wanted me to do it over. I told her I couldn't. The rest of the trip was miserable. When we got home, she stayed at her parents' house for a night. Now she's back, but things are tense. I can't even look at her. When she returned to the apartment, she acted like nothing had happened. She walked in with her duffel bag, set it by the door, and went straight to the fridge for a bottle of water. I was sitting on the couch, trying to focus on a video game I wasn't even really playing. She sat next to me like we were just picking up where we left off. "Hey," she said casually, twisting the cap off her bottle. I didn't respond right away. I stared at the screen, barely processing what was happening in the game. Finally, I said, "We're going to talk about this, right?" She leaned back, taking a sip. "About what?" "Don't do that," I snapped, putting the controller down. "You know what?" She rolled her eyes. "If you're going to keep making a big deal out of this." "It is a big deal," I interrupted. "You rejected my proposal, and now you're sitting here like it's just another Tuesday." "I didn't reject it," she said, her voice louder this time. "I told you it wasn't what I wanted." "That's the same thing," I said, standing up. "You stopped me mid-proposal, told me it wasn't good enough, and now you're mad at me for being upset about it?" "You're twisting my words," she argued, crossing her arms. "I didn't say it wasn't good enough. I said it wasn't what I expected." "What's the difference?" I asked, pacing the room. "Seriously, explain it to me." She sighed and set her water bottle on the coffee table. "The difference is that I wanted something memorable, something that showed you put real thought into it." "Hawaii wasn't memorable enough for you?" I shot back. "I guess I should have rented a fireworks display and hired a camera crew while I was at it." She threw her hands up. "I'm not asking for fireworks. I just wanted something romantic, like we talked about." "You didn't even try to make it special for me," she said. I turned around, glaring at her. "I didn't try? I planned an entire trip, carried that ring around for days, and waited for the right moment."
"But sure, I didn't try."
"You waited for a night walk on the beach," she shot back, her tone sharp. "You knew I wanted a sunset proposal. That's not the same thing." I let out a bitter laugh. "You think I didn't know that?" "I knew. But I was trying to make the most of what we had. Sorry it didn't meet your Instagram standards." She stood up now, her eyes burning with frustration. "You're so dramatic. This isn't about Instagram. It's about the fact that you didn't listen to me." "I didn't listen?" I shouted. "I've been listening to you for 6 years. I've done everything I could to make you happy, and this is what I get in return?" She shook her head. "You're impossible. I can't even talk to you when you're like this." "Oh, I'm the problem now." My voice rose. "You embarrassed me on that beach. Do you have any idea how hard it was for me to even get to that point? And you just threw it all back in my face."
She didn't respond.
Instead, she grabbed her water bottle and stormed off to the bedroom, slamming the door behind her. I stayed in the living room, staring at the blank TV screen, too angry to even think about going to bed. The next morning, I woke up on the couch, my back stiff and my head pounding. She was in the kitchen, frying something in a pan. The smell of eggs and bacon filled the apartment, but it didn't feel comforting. It felt wrong, like she was trying too hard to act like everything was normal. "Are you going to sit there all day, or are you going to eat?" she asked, not even looking at me. "I'm not hungry," I muttered, grabbing my phone and walking to the bathroom. I locked the door behind me and turned on the shower just to drown out the sound of her in the kitchen. When I finally came out, she was sitting at the table, eating and flipping through a magazine. She didn't look up as I walked past her. "Are you planning on ignoring me forever?" she asked as I grabbed my keys from the counter. "I'm going for a walk," I said, not bothering to explain. When I came back an hour later, she was gone. There was a note on the counter. "I'm at my parents' if you want to talk like an adult." I crumpled it up, frustration boiling over, and tossed it in the trash. That night, she came home and we tried to talk again. This time, we were both calmer, but the tension between us was suffocating. It felt like it could be cut with a knife. "Why do you always make everything so black and white?" she asked, her voice strained. "It's like you can't handle any compromise." "This isn't about compromise," I said, sitting across from her, my hands gripping the edge of the table. "This is about you not appreciating what I did for you." She let out a long, exasperated sigh. "I do appreciate it, but you're acting like I committed some huge crime by asking for something different." I couldn't hold it in any longer. "Because you made me feel like I wasn't good enough," I snapped. "Like what I did wasn't enough for you." Her voice softened. "It's not about being good enough," she said quietly. "It's about doing things that matter to both of us." I shook my head, feeling the weight of everything pressing down on me. "I don't think we're ever going to see eye to eye on this." She didn't answer. We sat in silence for what felt like forever. Then, without another word, she got up and walked to the bedroom. I stayed at the table, staring at the ring box still in my pocket, wondering if it would ever leave. A few days later, I met one of my closest friends for lunch. I needed to get out of the apartment. Honestly, I just needed to vent. He knew about the proposal, so he asked how it went. "It didn't," I said, leaning back in the booth, the weight of the situation still heavy in my chest. He raised an eyebrow. "What do you mean?" "She stopped me mid-proposal," I explained, my voice flat. "Told me it wasn't what she wanted." He set his burger down. "Are you serious? What the hell was wrong with it?" "She didn't like how I did it," I said, frustration creeping back in. "It wasn't grand enough. She wanted something like the stuff you see on Instagram, flowers, lights, photographers hiding in the bushes." "She said that while you were proposing?" He shook his head. "Man, that's messed up. I get that people have preferences, but that's a slap in the face." "Exactly," I muttered. "And now she wants me to redo it, the way she wanted it in the first place." His expression turned serious. "Don't do it," he said firmly. "If you do, you're just teaching her that she can control everything." That night, I went to a friend's house for game night. The usual group was there, laughing, joking, playing cards, but I was quiet. Not myself. Eventually, someone noticed. "You good?" they asked. "You really want to know?" I said, setting my drink down. I took a deep breath. I tried to propose to her in Hawaii, and she rejected it. The room fell silent. Everyone stared at me, waiting for more. "She didn't like how I did it," I continued. "She wanted something big and flashy. Now she wants me to do it again, her way." "Wait," one of the guys said. "She rejected the proposal because it wasn't Instagram-worthy?" "Pretty much," I shrugged. "Apparently, I should have had a drone fly over with a banner or something." One of my friends sat up, his tone more serious. "Dude, you planned a trip to Hawaii. That's already above and beyond. If that's not enough, I don't know what is." "Exactly," I said. "But apparently, I should have rented a whole production crew for it." "She's being selfish," another friend chimed in. "If she really loved you, she'd care more about the gesture than the setting." The next day, I ran into a mutual friend while grabbing groceries. She asked about the trip, and I told her everything that happened. She listened quietly, then said, she wanted a sunset proposal with all the bells and whistles? Yep, I sighed, tossing a loaf of bread into my cart. And since I didn't deliver, she stopped me mid-meal. Wow, she blinked in disbelief. That's rough. What are you going to do? I don't know, I admitted. I can't just pretend it didn't happen. But she keeps acting like I'm the one overreacting. I get wanting a nice proposal, but… She thought for a moment before speaking. But if she really loves you, it shouldn't matter where or how you do it. That's what I thought, I said, shaking my head. But apparently I don't get it. She gave me a sympathetic smile. Well, for what it's worth, you deserve someone who appreciates you, not just what you can do for them. That night, I was sitting at the kitchen table, talking on the phone with a friend. I needed to vent, to talk it out. She wants me to redo it, I said quietly. But how do I come back from that? She made me feel like an idiot in that moment, and now she expects me to just try again like nothing happened. I didn't realize she was standing in the doorway until she cleared her throat. Talking about me again? She asked, arms crossed. It's not like you gave me much choice, I muttered, still processing what had just happened. Wow, she scoffed. You really love playing the victim, don't you? Playing the victim? I repeated, my temper flaring. You humiliated me. What am I supposed to do? Just bottle it up and smile? I expect you to be an adult, she shot back, her voice rising. Not run to your friends every time something goes wrong. Like you haven't been complaining to your parents? I snapped. At least I'm not spreading lies about you, she said, her face twisting with frustration. Lies? I let out a dry laugh. I didn't lie about anything. You rejected my proposal. There's a difference. Not to me, I muttered, grabbing my keys. I'm going for a walk. I slammed the door behind me and didn't return for hours. When I came back, she was already asleep, or at least pretending to be. I didn't bother trying to wake her. A few days later, we tried talking again. I had been keeping to myself, staying out of her way, but it felt like we were just going in circles. She sat at the table, stirring her tea. I stood by the counter, avoiding her gaze. Can we just get everything out in the open? She asked. Sure, I said, folding my arms. Let's do that. She put her spoon down and sighed. I don't understand why you're acting like this is the end of the world. Because it feels like it is, I said, frustration building. I tried to do something special for you, and you made it clear it wasn't good enough. How am I supposed to come back from that? It's not about it being good enough, she said, her voice softening. It's about you not listening to me. You knew what I wanted, and you ignored it. I didn't ignore it, I said, raising my voice. I did the best I could with what we had. Sorry if it didn't meet your standards. It's not about standards, she said, shaking her head. It's about effort. Effort. I let out a bitter laugh. Do you have any idea how much effort I put into that trip? Booking everything last minute, carrying that ring around, trying to find the perfect moment, and none of that counts. It's not the same, she insisted. You made it about convenience instead of about me. Convenience? I slammed my hand on the counter. I planned that trip because you wanted it. I proposed on that beach because it felt right. And now you're telling me it was all wrong because it didn't look like something out of a movie. She didn't answer right away. She just stared into her cup, as if the answer was at the bottom of it. Finally, she spoke. I think you're blowing this out of proportion. I took a deep breath, trying to stay calm. You think I want to feel like this? You think I enjoy being pissed off every time I look at that damn ring? You're making it personal, she said. It's not about you. It's about us. What we want together. Well, what I want, I said, my voice cold, is someone who doesn't make me feel like shit for trying to do something nice. So maybe we're not on the same page after all. That night, we sat on opposite sides of the couch. The TV was on, but neither of us was really watching. She was flipping through a book, and I was pretending to follow a game I didn't care about. The silence was unbearable, but I didn't know how to break it. I don't know how we got here, she said finally. Really? I said, not looking at her. Because it seems pretty clear to me. What's that supposed to mean? She asked. It means we've been kidding ourselves, I said. acting like we're on the same page. But this whole thing proves we're not. That's not fair, she said. You're letting one fight define our entire relationship. It's not just one fight, I said. It's what it represents. If we can't even agree on something as basic as a proposal, how are we supposed to agree on marriage? She closed her book and set it aside. So, that's it? You're just giving up? I'm not giving up, I said. I'm being realistic. You're being ridiculous, she said, standing up. You're throwing everything away over something stupid. Stupid to you, I said, standing up as well. To me, it's everything. She moved back in with her parents. We talked once after that. She apologized but still insisted I was overreacting. You're really ending 6 years over this? She asked. I'm not ending it over this one thing, I said. I'm ending it because this showed me just how different we are.
She didn't argue.
She just left. I've been on my own for a week now. It's lonely, but it's also peaceful. I don't know if I'll ever propose to anyone again.